wake up, feel the light, a brand new day in sight. Conversations that uplift, setting your dreams alight. Mindset shifts, empowering quotes, fueling your fire, keeping you afloat. Stay inspired daily, let your spirit soar. Our love language is value, giving you more. Join the conversation, every word counts. Motivation matters, enlarge your mouths. Stay inspired daily, let your spirit soar. Our love language is value, giving you more. Join the conversation, every word counts. Motivation matters, enlarge your mouths. Uplifting shots, start your day, guiding you gently.
Feeling stuck in the same loop? It's time to shift your mindset, one conversation at a time. Welcome to Conversation Global Network, your daily destination for motivation, empowerment, and real talk that moves you. Whether you need a quick mindset reset, an empowering quote, or just someone to remind you that you've got this, we're here. Because every word counts, every thought matters, and every day is a chance to grow. Log on now to conversationglobalnetwork.com and start your daily dose of motivation. Don't just scroll, elevate. Our love language is value.
Can you tell me a little about yourself?
Yes.
What is your sweet spot?
My sweet spot is value.
What do you enjoy doing in your free time?
I love dancing and meeting new people.
What is your favorite color? What are your favorite moments?
Favorite color is blue. My favorite moments is motivating others.
What motivates you every day?
I am motivated every day by helping someone to move from zero to hero.
You have any hobbies or interests outside of work?
Yes. I enjoy podcast, motivational speaking, spending time with family.
What's something people might be surprised to learn about you?
People will be surprised to know that I know how to cook.
How do you usually handle stress or pressure?
I handle stress and pressure by losing for positive outcome.
Do you prefer working alone or in a team?
I prefer working with a team.
Who has been the biggest influence?
My biggest influence in my life, my little sister Janet and my big brother Travis.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Guyana.
What's a personal achievement you're proud of?
I am proud of being the visionary of the Conversation Motivational Platform.
Hello, sir. Please can you tell us about the Conversation Motivational Platform?
The Conversation Motivational Platform, our love language is value. A platform care to follow your pain to bring about a change.
Please tell us more.
A platform to help you find your sweet spot, gain your momentum. A platform that cater for suicide, depression, and loneliness.
Okay, great. Thank you. Now you know, so tell someone about this platform. God bless you.
Life have certain things that have to bear the condensation that will bring out of you what you need to be because of what comes with it.
Good night, good night, good night. Welcome to our tribe. Welcome to our village. Welcome to our community. Welcome to the August platform, the Conversation platform, where our love language is value, where our mantra is value. I want to let you know we have the receipts in the reciprocal nature of value. We bring the professional on, and also we bring the nuggets that people can change from being a casual thinker to become a critical thinker. Once again, welcome to the Conversation platform with yours truly, SGGR, Seon Gregory Gomes Rodney. I have with me this evening my co-host is no other than Cornelius Gamble, a man that will tell you much about himself, his accolades, and his experience in life, what he's bringing to the platform this evening. I want to tell you he is the founder and he is doing the great things for the young community, the Gen Zs, the millennials. Also, he's touching the grown and sexy. With that being said, I will hand you over to my co-host, now that I call Cornelius Gamble. Cornelius, the platform is yours.
Hey, I appreciate it, and thank you for allowing me to be here. As stated, my name is Cornelius Gamble. I'm the founder of EQ Growth Lab Company, which is an emotional intelligence company. And we're really just on a mission to teach the kind of mindset that builds discipline, the kind of mindset that helps us realize the importance of emotional intelligence and also how to strengthen relationships. Life is a journey for every last one of us, I would say. Would you agree? And so with that, go ahead.
So Cornelius, well, now we have here on the Conversation platform to our tribe, our community, and our village of Caribbean brothers, our Caribbean countries, South America, North America, Latin America, Central America, continent of Asia and Africa. Coming to the family, we always say 5 minutes, you are a friend or a visitor. After making the 5 minutes of your debut here, you become family. So now, Cornelius, you are a part of the Conversation family. So with that being said, let the people know where they can reach you, where they can reach out to you, or they can get in contact with you. Those who want to be a following of what you're doing and to be a part of your platform. So you can go ahead and let them know how they can be a part of your village and your community.
For sure. My website is imjustcornelius.com. I can be reached through email at eva@eqgrowthlab.com. I'm currently located here in the metro Atlanta area, serving all kinds of people. And I also have a podcast, which is the Lab Operator Podcast. I have a YouTube, which is EQ Growth Lab. And we have an Instagram, which is at EQ Growth Lab. You can find me on LinkedIn, which is my name right here on the screen, Cornelius Gamble.
Awesome. My brother, if you can also put it in the chat, you can wait if I can contact you, the methods of contact, the ways, your handles, or whatever it is, so people can able to reach out to you, because I believe, as I said, we have the receipt of value. We're not new to this. We are true to this. We believe that as we collaborate, as we work in tandem with each other, we can able to meet the loss at all cost, because we're looking in our society where society are deeming people now not able to be an independent thinker, not to be critical thinkers. So we are trying to reshape and remodel to model independent thinking, critical thinking, and where people can bring back our sons to really be your husbands to society, brothers to society, where they can rise to the occasion to meet the needs, because we recognizing that you cannot even have stocks from the prison, but this prison is enlarging itself in numbers, and we want to decrease that trend. We want that trend to take a fall, and that lies upon the feet of me and you, and many more, so we can increase the community of pastors, increase the community of motivational speaking, inspirational, whatever form we can collaborate to bring our skill set, so our brothers and our sisters can able to live the best life, the God life, the Zoe life, the top tier life, moving from existing to really thriving. So I'm happy to meet with you today and to chat with you for 5 minutes. And the 5 minutes seemed like I had 5 hours with you, and you really impact my mind. When you said about mindset is the future that shapes our reality, that takes me, that was a mic drop right there. You know what I'm saying? Because that is in my zone, that's up my element. The first box I will ever check off is to check off a mindset box, because that is our real estate, our mental real estate. The wealth of man is in the mental real estate. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I want to hand over to you to start off in your mindset is the filter that shapes your reality.
Yeah, for sure. So the reality is that if we want to transform our lives, we got to transform our mindset first. And in order to do that, we have to really be intentional about how we focus on our thinking processes. And so when we ask this question, so what is mindset? You know, in mindset, we have the ability to look at if we are a fixed mindset thinker or if we are a growth mindset thinker. The difference of the two being fixed mindset is my life is the way that it is, and this is all I can ever have. This is all it will ever be. And growth mindset is the aspect that, you know, I may be where I am today. However, there is always opportunity for me to create change. There is always opportunity for me to have value and to alter my life in the way that I see it. And so I like to break it down and say that our thoughts oftentimes become our beliefs when they've been practiced over and over and over and over, right? And so we strengthen those neural pathways in our minds, and then we begin to accept the idea that was once just a thought. And then from that, we start to act on those beliefs, and then those behavior patterns also strengthen the way that we rewire our neural pathways, and then that is what ultimately gives us the outcome that we have. So what I tell people is, if you really want to have a deeper understanding of where your mind is, look at your lifestyle, and remind ourselves that, you know, we don't have to be perfect, right? But what we should do is look at everything that occurs in our lives as a learning opportunity, as a way to be able to reflect. You see, we have about 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day. 60 to 70,000 thoughts. And when we look at that, a large majority of that, science will say 95% of that, is a loop being stuck on repeat. And it's kind of alarming because most of those thoughts are actually negative thoughts, right? Those negative thoughts are on repeat. They go unexamined. We accept them because that's how we've been trained. That's the conditioning that we live through. And so if we want to create change, that change begins with awareness. We have to first take the opportunity to see who we are, and then see if who we are is aligned with who we want to be. And then look at, is that in alignment with who God has called us to be, right? And maybe if you don't have a religious belief or a background or anything like that, but my purpose here is I'm just following God's plan. You see, I realized my life had drastically got off course. I'm a combat veteran, and being in war showed me a whole nother side of life that I am now appreciative that I've got to experience. Because coming back to America, I realized that the greatest battlefield that I ever faced was the one that was inside of my own head. And when we have the opportunity to reflect on things that we go through and not necessarily judge ourselves, then we create a space where we can start to see lasting change. And so I would ask the audience to consider this. What's one dominant thought that maybe is repeating in your mind that's probably been holding you back? Ask yourself that question and be real with yourself when you ask yourself that question. Because with that, we start to put up these mental walls. And those mental walls are oftentimes the things that keep us stuck. You see, your inner ceiling is usually disguised as logic or as self-protection. And again, we have to be intentional about creating the change that we want to see, or else we get what we've always had. And this is the danger of that loop that we as people oftentimes get stuck in. And so what do? How do we address those things? One, we have to address the limiting beliefs. We have to say, you know, instead of saying I'm not ready, maybe we can say, or instead of saying I'm not ready or I always mess things up, just pause for a moment. Because I hear a lot of people say this, and I used to be one of them. Oh, I'm angry, or I'm this, I'm that. Are you? Or are you experiencing an emotion? Are you experiencing the feeling that comes along with the construct that we oftentimes label? And so we have to learn to disassociate ourselves from the thing that we feel in order to create a new identity, because we are not anger. We are far more than anger, but we do experience the emotions of anger. I also want to talk about a trauma loop. There's this research.
But before you go to the trauma loop,
yeah.
Before you go to the trauma loop, we establish, and I hear from you talking about the mind is so powerful, and the mind is one of the most powerful thing that too much important to waste.
Yes.
And people develop what you call a dull hearing. Until we speak to that dull hearing, and I want you to use some of your experience in the military where you have to use more of your mind to make decisions because you go in head first before anything in this life. And that is your mind speaking to your body. So you can talk to somebody who is going through life so far, whatever stages they at, but they develop dull hearing. And dull hearing to those who are set in the ways feel that nobody can reshape their mind, nobody can change their thought processing, no one can change their modus operandi, no one can give them a new concept. That's the way they thought they are, and that's the way they prepared to die. That's the way their situation is, and they're prepared to accept that situation govern their life from the cradle to the grave. Our job in this life is to reshape that, to get people out of that dull hearing. So I want you to use some of your military combat mindset. What did that taught you? Because I guess you went in certain principles that you had dull hearing to. Because I was never military, but I have few military folks around me, and they say that you go into the military, especially boot camp, they have to break you down and then build you up and take away the civilian part of you, so you be 100% sold out military. Talk to us at that time how you had to change mindset and so on.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's make the mind-body connection on that then. Going into the aspect of going to, recruit training or boot camp and being able to, quote unquote, as they say, break you down to make us one. That oneness is to eliminate the identity that we had carried to that point, and to be able to get us on one mind, so that way, as we move forward, we can be one team, one sound, one fight, right? And that unity. And so in this, what's happening is we're really just breaking down the emotional memory that we've carried until, maybe the day one of recruit training. And what is intended to happen is that we have to realize that we have to die to self, right? Because the purpose of what we do is far bigger than one being. And oftentimes when we come into situations prior to this type of training, our mindset is stuck on survival mode. It's just about what can I do for me? How can I live my life that would be most advantageous or beneficial for myself? And I don't personally believe that life is intended for us to live it as if we were selfish. I found a great change by being of service. And the more I'm in service, the greater I've seen life has changed. When we talk about specific trainings, things are very difficult, but you'll realize what you thought was, if I can only do 5 push-ups or 25 push-ups, your mind will quit before your body will quit before your mind, but your mind has to tell your body to keep going. And if we accept the idea that my limitation
so if I hear clearly, my brother, you said your body will quit force before your mind.
Correct.
So that means your mind is pulling the body into places that it needs to go. Continue. Interesting.
Yeah, so what's happening is that you start to feel, let's use a push-up analogy, right? So when you get to do a push-up and you're pushing, eventually you feel muscle fatigue. In that muscle fatigue, your mind and your body start to battle on whether or not you want to feel that level of pain, that level of discomfort. And when your mind tells your body that I have more in me, one more is what we like to say in the Marine Corps. There's always one more push, one more drive, one more whatever it is. The more you realize that you overcome the limitations that you previously set, then now you set a new record for yourself. And so, for instance, there was one time I was in a push-up competition. Another Marine, very competitive, obviously. But another Marine was like, hey, man, how many push-ups a day are you doing? And I said, I'm only doing about 100 push-ups. So he said, tomorrow, I want us to do a push-up competition. And there was, nothing on the line. But he said, I'm going to beat you. And just the idea of him saying he was going to beat me I set in my mind I was going to do whatever was necessary to win. I woke up at 6 a.m. and I did the first 100 push-ups. And I told myself, man, this hurts, this sucks. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this for the rest of the day. So then I started to formulate and become strategic. How can I ensure that every hour of this day I'm able to do 100 push-ups, even though the 100 sounds like a lot? Then I said, okay, I can break that down to doing 50 push-ups every 30 minutes, right? And then you can continue to break that down into a micro scale. At the end of the day, I end up doing maybe 1,500 push-ups. But had you asked me previously to that, I couldn't have told you I could have done it. I wouldn't even fathom that that was something that was possible for me. And so in this, I realized, yeah, my body may have been in pain. Yeah, it may have sucked. But my mind told me that there was so much more that I was capable of doing. And as long as I didn't quit mentally, my body had no choice but to catch up.
So I love that. So I want you now to formulate a thought around that now. Speaking to somebody right now that their body is going through and the situation is taking them through places. But tell them how their mind can help them to see the outcome better than what they're in right now. Probably somebody, they grew up feeling they're nobody, but their mind can help them to feel you are somebody. You know, the mind can tell them that you can rise above the fray, above poverty. You can rise above not having an education. You can go back and get a level of education. To talk to someone to develop that mindset that they can change the course of this situation. Because listening to you tonight, it's really intriguing when you put your mind how many push-ups you do by the end of the day.
Yeah, that's 1,500.
Speak to somebody.
Yeah, so really you have to just change the mind. There is no simple way. There is no easy way, I should say. We just have to become intentional. When we have a thought or a situation that may happen, we have to learn how to accept it is for what it is, for the moment that it is. And so what happens is when a situation occurs and we continuously put that situation on repeat, we are torturing ourselves in essence. And this is where we start to feel depression. We start to feel like these low moments of vibration. And it's because we continue to go back in the past and bring the past back into our present. And so we force ourselves to feel that pain over and over and over again. Instead, what we should do is learn how to change the way that we're thinking, right? And how do we do that? We have to do that by replacing our thoughts. You see, I grew up in what some people would call a less fortunate environment. I grew up in the projects of Fort Pierce, Florida. And when I looked around me, it was a bunch of gang violence, a bunch of drugs, a bunch of all of these things. And I remember being told, you would never be anything, right? Like, you're either going to join a gang, you're going to die, you're going to be worthless. And these are the words that are being fed to me. However, I just felt that there was something far bigger for my life than that. And I couldn't explain it at that time as a kid. But I knew with everything inside of me, I wasn't going to let you be right about what you said about me, because what you said didn't bring life to me. Mm-hmm. And so initially, my desire and my drive was really from anger, right? I was hurt, I was sad, and then I began to get upset because how dare you label me? But then you have to be careful, because these labels may come from others, and then we may get upset with them. But then what do we do with ourselves when we accept that label and then punish ourselves the same way? And so we have to be able to just realize the thoughts have to be replaced. And so maybe if we're feeling down, understand that it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel anger. It's okay to feel all the emotions that we feel. However, it's not okay to stay in that place. And so let's bring this from a thought idea into maybe a visualization. If I wasn't a good swimmer and I was kicked off a boat, right? I only have two options: sink or swim, or at least attempt to swim until somebody comes to try to rescue me. But if I don't make the effort to try to swim, then it's guaranteed that I'll drown. And so if we get stuck in our minds on this destructive pattern of this loop that just continues to play itself over and over without reshaping or rewiring that thought, we're almost destined to our future to get a future that is not something we're going to be proud of. And so, yes, it may be difficult to kick our legs and to swing our arms while we're in this ocean because we feel like I don't have the skills necessary to keep me afloat. You don't have to have the skill right now. You have to have the will. W-I-L-L. So if you don't have the skill, you need to have the will to learn the skills, to do what's necessary until you develop yourself. And then as you develop yourself, look at and do an assessment to see where you're weak and how you can improve. And life is just a journey that way. And it never ends. But what we have to do is we have to give ourselves grace. We have to allow ourselves to drop the labels that have been placed on us and give ourselves a new label. Maybe do some positive self-talk instead of using the toxic self-talk that we're used to, giving ourselves some positive affirmations. My mom used to tell me, you know, write down your goals and dreams, but they must be positive. And every day, you need to read that. When you wake up, read it. When you go out for lunch, read it. When you go to bed, read it. And I remembered it, and so I stopped carrying the sheet with me. And then one day she says, hey, where's your paper? And I was like, oh, Mom, I don't need it. I know it already. And I mean, she went on this whole rant, this whole thing. And in my head, I'm like, oh, I don't want to hear this. I know this already. But I took her advice anyway. I carried the paper with me in my wallet. And every time something would happen, every time like this negative thought would come into my head, I pulled out this paper and I would read it. Cornelius, you're amazing. You're smart. Your future is bright, right? All positive affirmations telling me that I was capable of accomplishing anything in my life that I wanted, and that there is no such thing as limitation except for what I set for myself. And through this practice, guess what? I began to have the skill because I started with the will. And then from that, my life just began to evolve. And so what I would tell anybody who's currently going through a situation, feel the pain, just don't stay in it. You were created.
But I love what you say. And that is so powerful. That's a mic drop right there, my brother. Many people have never get past what you just said. And Miles Monroe, Dr. Miles Monroe, said the greatest wealth is in the graveyard. You just said something that is so powerful. It's not the mind, it's the will. No, it's not the skill, sorry. It's not the skill, but it's the will. Many people they have the will, but they focus on the skill. That is so powerful. I never heard that before. You see, and that's where we're helping people, as we said in the preambles, both you and I, about raising people to become critical thinkers. Because critical thinking is what will cause you to think beyond the mundane, beyond the norm, beyond the regular. Critical thinkers go beyond the status quo. Critical thinkers embody something that never happened before. So it's not the skill, but the will.
Sure.
Peter never had the skill to walk on water, but he had the will to walk on water. Because when you see Jesus walk on water, right away, Peter didn't say, man, I didn't went to walk water in school. I'm not a gymnast or aerobics or one of that kind of stuff. But all he heard from a word, come. So he used the will without the skill. My God. So many people are trapped. They have the will to do things, but because of their mindset is telling them they don't have the skill. You're not trained to be strong. You're not trained to be happy. You're not trained to whatever it is, but you have the will. Let your mind tell you that with the will you can. And then on over to you quickly, where the word of God says, my brother Cornelius, that let the weak say that I am strong. You don't have the skill to be strong. Some of us may not have the time to go to the gym. We not have the time to do cardio, so you have that good stamina. You're not maybe good in your thighs. You may not be good on your shoulder. You may not be good on your stance. But God is saying the weak say I'm strong. That's critical thinking. So you were not trained with the skills to carry this weight. But the will tell you can. So with the will, you said, I am strong. You don't have the skill to get this money, that to be wealthy, the six figures, but because you have the will and the mindset, you can attract the money. My brother Cornelius, continue to let's raise critical thinker. Speak to that critical mind that will start thinking out of the box tonight.
Yeah, well, the reality is there is no box. We first have to think to that magnitude. There was some research that was done on some fleas, and the flea can jump in an astronomical height. The flea was put into a jar, and the scientists, to keep the flea from jumping out, they put a lid on it. And eventually the flea would jump until they hit the lid. Over time, they stopped jumping because the pain of, and I'm just putting this as human sense, the pain of hitting the lid. And so after they had produced offspring, the offspring never even attempted to jump higher than their parents did. So even with the lid removed, the fleas never jumped out of the jar. See, that's the danger of thinking inside of a box. And in order to create lasting change, there has to be somebody who is willing to do what is necessary, who is willing to do what is different from what has been done. And a lot of times we expect life to just be easy. I think that's the greatest mistake. You see, if I take a seed and I plant this seed into the soil, it must first go through an entire process. It has to absorb the moisture. It then has to send the roots out. And then the roots dig deep. And then from that point, you start to see the flower spring out from the soil. But look at everything that must take place before you ever see the results. Sometimes I feel my life experience, my mindset previously, I wanted the result without doing the work. It just doesn't work that way. Even when we talk about the idea of a rose growing from concrete, the rose didn't grow from the concrete. The rose grew from the crack that was in the concrete. And so this is the opportunity of seeking out opportunity. And so there's a powerful idea where we talk about visualization. You see, the mind or the body doesn't know the reality from what we tell it and versus what it is, which is why earlier I said, if you want to know what you think, look at your environment. You see, some people would say, well, Cornelius, I'm going to rebuttal what you say because I was born in a less unfortunate environment. Yeah, that's okay, right? It may be a rough start, but it doesn't mean that's where you have to stay. And so I read this quote years ago. It said, a man can see the world from sitting in his windowsill. And for years I sat on that idea, like, how is that possible? How is that possible? You have to expand your mind by the way that you think. You have to be able to tap back into that childlike faith where there is no limitation because you don't know a such thing as limitation. And everything is impossible until it's done. Everything is impossible until it's done. So why not be the one to do the impossible? But in order to do that, you have to challenge the way that you think. Visualization is so powerful because even as a martial arts instructor, a lot of times my rehearsal would be in my mind because I didn't have the physical location or the time to go sit down and go through the actual movement. But I knew what it looked like. And so I would sit in silence, I would sit in stillness, and I would go into my mind, not only to a point of I'm just thinking about it, but to a point that in my mind, it looked as if it was my current reality. This is proper visualization, taking yourself from your present and bringing the future to you. And from that, I would rehearse these techniques over and over and over and over and over to where I could feel it as if I was actually going through it. And then when I would actually get into a competition, the thing that I rehearsed in my mind was the thing that caused me to win the competition. And so I can say firsthand, your current environment or your current circumstance or your current situation doesn't determine your future. That's just the foundation of where you're starting from.
I love what you says is taking the future and bring it to you in the present. That is critical thinking. Because God take the future and bring it into his present. And then help us to understand the past in the present and then the future in the present. So we understand what the world was like. Without form, without void, there were darkness on the face of the earth and so forth and such like. So that's tell us how God's mind was extended. The mind of God was so vast, and the thoughts of God for us. And he help us now to extend that thoughts. So you're saying bringing the future into the present. So the future is where it deems to be impossible, but your mind make it relevant now. So tonight, wherever you are listening, I am Seon Rodney, and I have Cornelius Gamble with me, and we are dealing with the mindset. The mindset, we're speaking to the mind. So wherever is your situation right now that tell you you cannot, and you will not, you will never become, you will never evolve. Bring your future into your present. Start acting, start talking, start speaking, start doing, and before you know it, the future is right at the now. My brother Cornelius Gamble, speak to someone right now that are troubled about the future. Somebody right now, my brother, their mindset is so thwarted and distorted that I didn't want to go to sleep tonight. Someone is afraid of even waking up in the morning because of what their mind is saying to them. Speak to that person that is stuck, that they can unstuck themselves tonight.
You know, your true self would never want to cause harm to you. And so what I mean by that is there are natural systems that operate in our body that we don't have to cognitively be aware of. We blink without thinking, we breathe without thinking, we swallow without thinking. All of these systems, our body regulates its own temperature, right? Unless there's a medical condition that we face. And without that, this is the baseline of saying that your true self, your subconscious wants you to survive. The issue is when we go back to what we were talking about earlier, if we accept, right, from our thoughts become our beliefs. Those beliefs shape our behaviors. Those behaviors determine the outcome. If right now is a troubled moment for you or difficult moment, which we all experience, right? And I'm no different from anyone else, right? Every day, this is a practice. This is a lifestyle. This is not a hobby. This isn't something that you get one time and then all of a sudden snap your fingers, your life has changed forever. You have to practice every single day being intentional about who you want to become and how you want your life to be. You see, the negative things will come. It's okay. Rewire them, reshape them. I teach my kids, and when I speak, I say obstacles are just opportunities on the opposite side. So every time you face a difficult moment, the solution to what you want is also right there. You just have to change how you look at it. If you feel the pain, let the pain drive you. Don't let the pain drown you.
Don't let the pain drive you. No, let the pain drive you. Don't let the pain drown you. Oh my God. So basically you're saying in terms of checking off the boxes on a daily basis. Checking off those boxes to see how your mind has evolved to bring you to the impossible things that you thought you could not have done. So in checking off those boxes, you actually recognize you're having a growth mindset. So with the growth mindset you embodied now, rephrase the last part what you said. Don't let
the pain drive you. Don't let it drown you.
Don't let the pain drown you, but let the pain drive you. So you're checking off the boxes. You recognize now that pain is no longer your pitfall. That it drives you. So therefore you are evolving. You're matriculating to the best version of yourself.
So the reality is, if we don't go through something that would test us, how do we know we're ready for the reward? So we have to have moments of things that show us what we are capable of, so we have the belief that we are also capable. Because if we think we can, but we never try, we never will. So it just doesn't line up, right? We have to be able to be tested. And instead of looking at things that come our way as things that are meant to stop us, this is my belief. This is what I've adopted and what I carry with me every single day. If an obstacle arises, a It's just an obstacle. It's just like when we're driving a car and we hit a speed bump. It's best to slow down. The speed bump is not meant to make you stop and not proceed. It's meant to have you slow down so you have better observation. Obstacles that come in our life are the exact same. They're just meant to allow us to slow down for a tad bit, to look around and see what we see. What can we adjust? How can we evolve? What can we change? Okay, now that I'm clear on that, let me take the next step forward. Because if you get in your car and you come up to a speed bump and you're going like 50 to 100 miles an hour, you're almost pretty sure you're going to tear something up. But in life, we are so consistent at being consistent with all the noise from social media, from the people around us, from our own racing thoughts. We don't oftentimes take the time to be still, to be silent, to hear the voice. And I believe, at least in my personal experience, that has been the thing that has derailed the train. And if I don't want that to happen, I have to allow myself at times to sit where I am, to get what I need so I know how to take the next step clearly. This way I don't repeat the same things that I've already done over and over and over, because we say in the Marine Corps, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. You don't need to be in a rush because you're probably going to mess it up. But if you move with intention, your way is clear.
And my brother, sometimes we often say show up for others, but we never take the time to show up for ourselves. Because you see, the mind is so powerful, but yet the mind wants to be objective. But the mind can only objective if you are raised to think critically. But if you continue being a casual thinker, your mind is subjective. So because the mind is subjective, the mind is subjected to other people's opinions, to other people liking, to other people, whatever for others we will show up for. But to show up for ourselves, we can be objective to ourselves, in our mind. I can change my situation. I can change my outcome. For example, in the church, we're more happy with people's testimony, but never try to have a testimony of our own. We always see that God can heal someone else, but never take the time how powerful God is to heal us in our situation. So we train our mind to really objective, but matter to be subjective. Some of us, because our community has raised us that way. Some parents, they shut the child down when the child is now about to find a mindset to match their personality. And because of that, the child grew up to be subjective, never have a moment to be objective. Stop asking questions, stop training their mind to be critical thinking, try to think outside of the box. So my brother, I want you to speak to the objective mindset. To those who for most of their life, they was very much subjugated, they were subjective in most of their life in terms, even their thinking, never thought their contribution makes sense, because their mind wasn't trained to be analytical, so they doesn't make any contribution in any meeting, they doesn't make any point, they doesn't ask any question, doesn't make any inquiry, they never try to have a clarity, because most of the time they were subjective. But through this life, they can change their course tonight with you helping them to be more objective. Cornelius.
Yeah, for sure. The way you interpret life is what shapes your life. And you were talking about a testimony. The root word of testimony is test. So we have to have those moments of friction in order to grow. And if you find yourself accepting the identity that those around you have tried to place on you, though it may be difficult, because this could be people you believe you love, people who you believe love you, but they just may not be the people for you. You see, you were put here on this earth for a reason, because it's not an accident. It's not a mistake. It just can't be. You're the only person who can do what you can do the way that you can do it. Other people may not understand that. Other people may not get that. Other people definitely will not agree with that. But guess what? It's irrelevant, because they are not you. The moment each one of us learns how to lean forward in our purpose, we have the ability to create the change in which we were placed here for. But until we do that, then all we do is become a puppeteer to those who have the control over us. And so when we complain about being stuck, or we don't identify the idea that we are stuck, we just have to really look around at our circle. Because I wonder if the people that we are in covenant with, or the people we're in circle with, are like the cap on the jar with the fleas. Maybe those people have created a ceiling that we feel we can't go past. But if we get out of the glass by shattering it and giving ourselves a new environment, maybe we'll realize that there truly is no limitation in which how far we could reach.
And also, what happened? We allow sometimes people to think for us. Most people, and they blame the situation on someone else. Never stick a moment to take the accountability for the reason that they play in this situation, because they feel that they're subjective to someone thinking for them. They have to go to the pastor. Whatever the pastor says, that works or should work. But the pastor situation, how we deal with the situation, is different from you. No situation or circumstances hypothetically ideal. Or you go to your boss or somebody, and sometimes you didn't take a moment to really be objective. We always see through the prisons of others. And that's why Jesus tried to understand, who do men say I am? Because he wanted to be objective, to have this real independent thinking, to be this critical thinker, because this is a man never you see do so much miracle in one man, do all that you're doing. So I really want to know you understand who I am. So they were leaning on what they were taught. So some say Elijah, some say Moses, some say all kind of name, because those are who were subjective to other people thinking for them. But they never tried to be objective, to interrogate their thought, to interrogate a thought process. Who is this person that you're talking about? Malcolm X? Who is Malcolm X? What did he do? Why led him to do what? You understand what I'm saying? So I cannot only take you, tell me what Malcolm X did, but because you're subjecting me now to Malcolm X principle. But if I'm objective, I can think of Malcolm X and then I can find light patterns of him. So Jesus wants to understand, who do men say I am? And really and truly, only one was objective. So imagine you in a tribe, in a community. Let me say, for example, going through domestic violence situation, female going through domestic violence situation, and everyone is telling you, better gonna come tomorrow. And my mom stayed through domestic violence, my grandma, my big auntie. So therefore, they're telling you, because you're not objective in your thinking, you're subjective to their thoughts, because mom stay, grandma stay, big auntie stay. And next thing you know, you will make it next week. Somebody is coming to eulogize you. You see what I'm saying? So we want you to be objective, not because mom stay, grandma stay in a domestic violence relationship and they made it through that. You will. So we want you to take moments in time, as busy as you may be, to change your outcome in life using your powerful mindset to have the results that you need, checking off the boxes to be objective. My brother Cornelius, I want you to talk now, seeing that many are walking with us at this process here, at this junction, to talk now about scarcity mindset. Many are stuck because of the scarcity mindset.
Yeah, that's a really powerful one. Scarcity would keep us stuck. Scarcity can also implement fear. Scarcity would also implement limiting beliefs, self-doubt, self-sabotage, and all these other things that we oftentimes face. And in order to address that, we have to face it head on. And these things are easy to say, I get it. very complex to do because, again, they challenge us and they give us an opportunity of resistance. And so if I had a key to my house and I left the key inside of the house, but I locked the door, either I can find a way to get in or I can just accept the idea that I'm stuck on the outside. The storm is coming. What do? Right? And whatever you choose, you must accept. When you were talking about earlier, a lot of times we fall into the idea of people pleasing, and we're not really we're not conscious of the idea that we're doing that. And a good way to test that is to see how do you feel after an experience or an event. And if it feels like, oh man, I don't feel like myself, or I didn't necessarily want to do that, but I adjusted because of the people that I'm with, then most likely you're doing what you're doing because you want to keep the people you're with happy with you, even though you're willing to sacrifice your own happiness. And this type of mindset will allow us to be stuck. This type of mindset, I like to refer to it as quicksand. A scarcity mindset will put us in a place in which we start to sink, and then we think that's all we deserve. And the more we resist and the more we fight, the faster we sink. There is no, let's put it into the monetary aspect. People say like, I don't deserve to have money because this is just what my life is going to be. And so when they look at someone else and say, oh, they have it because they were born in a different country, or they have it because they were born from rich parents, who says? Who says that their life has to be better than your life? The aspect of comparison starts to put us in the limiting beliefs, which then start to cause scarcity. What is for you will be for you if you take the steps to get the things that are for you. You see, like he says, the provisions, you'll be given the provisions along the way. To me, what I hear is along. In order to be along, I have to be in motion. If I'm not in motion, then I'm not along. I'm stuck. I'm stale. And so if you had the opportunity of drinking from a stale pond that's been sitting, the water doesn't circulate, you can smell the stench, and it's been here for 15, 20 years, or you had the option to drink from the flowing river that was right next to that pond, what would you choose? Would you choose to give yourself poisons and toxins and bacteria, or would you give yourself the best chance at life by drinking from a flowing source? There is no limitation, again, but the limitation that we place on ourselves. And oftentimes when we hit friction, that friction causes us to want to go back into ourselves. But don't beat yourself up about it, because the subconscious is meant for you to survive, period. It's not meant for you to thrive. It's meant for you to survive. And so a lot of people would say, well, if this isn't good for me, why do I keep going back to it? Or if this isn't good for me, then why is this all I keep doing? Well, because you built the pattern that told you that this is what you believe you deserve. And because you believe you deserve that, anytime you try to get out of that, your subconscious is going to try to drive you right back to the thing that you're accustomed to, even if it's uncomfortable. So if you're going to face uncomfortability to be stuck and uncomfortability to grow, why not grow?
And I love that, because I look at Moses for a moment. Moses went back to what he knew, because in time he knew about striking the rock. But in time of frustration, sometimes you go back to what you know. And sometimes that is a part of making you feel familiar to the scarcity mindset, not able to take chances, not able to take risk. So Moses didn't want to take the risk of speaking to the rock, because speaking to the rock never happened before. Struck the rock before water came. So he went back to what he knew. Lot's wife, she know what she had, but she can envision going to something that she know what will come back tangible. So our mindset was still in the past what worked. So scarcity mindset tells you too many people doing this thing, so you're stuck. You can venture out into something that you deem to be that you can evolve, Everybody's selling cars, so I sell cars. And right there, you stuck with that scarcity mindset. We all have podcasts. If I bring somebody on my platform, they're going to take away my views. So I got to hold on to the tree that I have. Nobody going to come on my platform. I can share nobody program, because if I share their program, and that is a scarcity mindset. So tonight, my brother, in the few more minutes, I want you to talk to somebody to just come out of that scarcity mindset, because they're more in abundance outside of the scarcity mindset. And I'll close on this point and hand over to you. When Peter, remember, fishing all night. Jesus didn't ask if he fish all night, because Jesus knew, he's all knowing. But Peter of the scarcity mindset, man, I fish all night, I do everything that I can do. That's my craft. And Jesus said, throw your net on the other side. That to get him out of this. I'm giving the church to you, bro. And I can give you with a scarcity mindset. So what I'm going to do, throw your net on the other side. So I want you to help somebody tonight, my brother, that they will throw the net on the other side, that they will caught that they never caught before, out of the scarcity mindset. Talk to such person tonight.
Yeah, so the reality is that if we're doing what's not working, we should expect the same result the more we repeat it. And so they say, like, to do the same thing and expect a different result is the definition of insanity. And so again, we have to be willing to reshape, rewire, and just try something different, right? 1% better today than yesterday is already a benefit. And the more we add the 1% to the 1% to the 1% to one, that growth. Don't be afraid to do something that hasn't been done. Don't be afraid to take steps forward because somebody else said you can't. What is meant for you will be for you, as long as you are doing what you are supposed to be doing, right? Like we both are on here tonight. I have no fear, no reservation, or no expectation that somehow my life is going to be set back for being here because I'm having a conversation with you. I believe to show up like we're doing is to be of service to the people. And because we are of service, then whatever is meant for us, because we are walking in alignment of our purpose, will be there. And so all we have to do is just realize, like, nobody's taking anything. Like, and if somebody does come and take something, does it ultimately change your life? Maybe if I lost a thing, it's making room for something bigger and better for me. I remember one time I wanted to learn how to go fishing, and I just couldn't figure it out. And so I thought the more I spent fishing, the more fish I would catch. It doesn't work that way, right? And this is where they say work smarter, not harder. And sometimes in order to realize what the smartest step to take is to be still. To be still in the moment. To observe, going back to where we talk about the speed bump. What is for you will be for you. But if you quit in your journey, then your destiny is not to receive it. So steps.
So I want you to develop a quick thesis on also, to them to work on what they're good at. Yeah. To develop on what they're good at. To just work on that with everything. So that mindset will go and the body will go. Because once your mind go, your body will go. Your head going first, not your body going first. So my brother, talk to someone tonight that they can work on that.
Yeah, so reflection is a big deal, I believe, always. If you're stuck in porn and don't quite know where you stand or what you're good at, because this is something that I hear a lot of people say, well, I don't know what my gift is. I don't know what my talent is. I don't know what I'm good at. Get a sheet of paper, get a pen, and just start writing. It doesn't have to make sense at first, but just write. Once you get all of those racing thoughts out of your mind, then sit and be still. Then ask yourself, what is it that comes natural to me? What is it that comes easy to me? And what is it that other people come to me for? That is your gift, because you're not trying to force it to be. It already is. Once you identify that, all you have to do is lean in and continue to rehearse, continue to practice. Find other ways on how you can develop and enhance that gift to become a little bit better. I think a lot of times when we think that we're good at something, most people stop at that point. The moment that we stop trying to grow, we become stagnant, and then we get comfortable. And that oftentimes, in my belief, sets us back. And so in the Marine Corps, we say complacency kills. So don't ever get complacent. Always be seeking for growth in any area that you're at. And so if you realize what your skill, your gift, your talent is, and other people are telling you that it's stupid and it doesn't make sense, it's okay. It's just not for them. And again, your environment plays a big role in how you see yourself. So if the people that you're surrounding with are not supporting you in your growth, but are encouraging you for failure, they're probably not the people that you should be around. And it may be difficult to separate yourself because, again, these are our comfortable zones. These are our complacency zones. But remember, complacency kills. It stifles growth. It keeps us from reaching the level we need to. So once you find your gift and your talent, and the environment that you're in is not a conducive environment, find people that are of your tribe in a better position than where you are. So what it does for you is constantly pushes you to seek self-improvement. And in doing this, you will be met with the blessings along the way, because now you're seeing yourself matriculate, you're seeing yourself grow, and then you're going to see that improvement in your life. But we have to take that first step. I like to say, my analogy is when I was learning how to swim, I stood at the edge of 6 feet and I jumped. Once I jumped and I came off the ground, gravity was going to do the rest. There was nothing I can do to reverse that. Sometimes we get so stuck on inaction and action, we make no action. You take a big step, take that big jump and do the things, and then learn along the way. Everything doesn't always have to be picture perfect. You see, life is really about making micro adjustments in everything that you do. So if you take a step and it doesn't work out the way you think, assess it to see where it can be improved, make a small tweak, and then just continue to live your life forward that way instead of being stuck where we are.
So that brings us to this point that we invest in every other thing else, but we never take time to invest in ourselves. Invest in the things that you are good at. Invest in the things that you want to evolve in. Embody that mindset, and therefore it will become a calling. Many of us get frustrated because we don't have the calling, because we fail to develop what we're good at. And when I say a calling, I mean people calling you. Because people can't call if they don't see a calling. You understand? So like the word of God said, he give you a gift and a calling without repentance. So the gift is given from you from birth. And then it without repentance, that means he's not going to take it back from you. But then without a calling, that tell you that expect that this gift, people going to call you, that to say gift will make room for you and bring you before great men. So it's the great man is calling you for that gift. So you have to develop that mindset. One, come out of that scarcity mindset, work on things that you are good at. My brother Cornelius, what would you like to say in your final thoughts for tonight?
Yeah, I would say your journey is your story, and your story is your path. Instead of trying to avoid the things you've been through, lean forward from that, because there's a whole world of people who may be experiencing something similar to what you've gone through or are going through, that you may be in a position now and able to help teach them on how to come out of it. And so when we talk about scarcity, stop always locking ourselves in the room, stop always locking ourselves in the dark. If you're ready for change, it's time to get up and step into the light.
So with that being said tonight, the change begins with you. The change tonight begins with you. Work on the things that you are good at. Admire the thing, but you don't have to crave the thing. What happens sometimes, my brother, this is my closing thought. We crave what we're not good at to neglect what we are good at. So because I see you doing something, I left what I'm doing because I crave what you have. Whether that is not my calling. Nobody is calling me for that. So I get now at a better place because I left what I should work and I'm good at, craving for something I'm admiring, and then no one called me. Tonight, our topic that we dealt with is the mindset is the filter that shapes your reality. And I have Cornelius Gamble with me in the studio tonight. And once again, thank you for coming on to the Conversation Motivational platform, the greatest platform on planet Earth, the Walmart of social media. And we want to thank you for bringing your skill set, bringing your calling, because you were called, and to develop your passion for the mindset that matters. Once again, thank you very much. Stay in the back room for a few minutes with me, please.
Find your calm, mindset shift, embrace the change, stay inspired, let your goals arrange, daily motivation, your daily lift, you got this, embrace the gift, hashtag shift, embrace the change, stay inspired, let your goals arrange, that's the daily motivation, your daily lift, you got this, embrace the gift. Stay inspired daily, let your spirit soar. Our love language is value, giving you more. Join the conversation, every word counts. Motivation matters.